Hey YouTube, what is up? If you guys haven't heard, we're actually getting some Dark Magician support. Finally, obviously this isn't a big surprise to anybody. We did get Buster Blader support, and then we're getting Blue Eyes support. The OCG already got it, TCG's getting it in Shining Victories, which comes out I think next month. But there's no surprise really that they, with Buster Blader support, with Blue Eyes support, we're obviously going to get Dark Magician support. There's the new movie coming out, so this is obviously the reason they're releasing this new support, because the cards that, the two protagonists, Kaiba and Yugi, used obviously are now outdated, so they had to update their decks, and I like the way they're going with it. I like the fact that they're going Synchro Blue Eyes and XYZ Magicians. I like that they're separating it that way. It's kind of cool to see how they're evolving, each person's individual playstyle. And yeah, so let's get into the card support. The way I'm going to go about this is I'm going to read the card, read its effects, and then I'm going to talk about some combos and plays, maybe some chains that work really well in this deck, and that's pretty much it. So let's get started. The first card is Ebon Void Magician. It's a rank 7 Dark Spellcaster type effect monster with an attack of 2300 and a defense of 2800. It requires 2 level 7 Spellcaster type monsters, so you're not going to be able to summon this in many other decks, even though you probably... it does have a good effect, but you probably wouldn't want to do it because it's really Dark Magician specific. The first effect of this card, which it has two, the first effect being if this card has XYZ material, you can activate quick play spells or trap cards from your hand during your opponent's turn. If you activate a card this way, detach one XYZ material from this card. The second effect is if this XYZ summon card is sent to the graveyard by your opponent's card effect or destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, special summon one Dark Spellcaster type monster from your hand or deck, then you can destroy one card on the field. This is really good. I like it. It's obviously a defensive wall type monster that you're going to want to sit on. You have a high defense. You're going to want to activate the spells and traps from your hand. You can activate Twin Twister from hand. You can activate MST from hand. You can activate Time Space Trap Hole from hand and stop your opponent. And then once you run out of materials, because this card doesn't need materials to actually have its second effect, you can use this card's effect twice. And then once it's destroyed, you get to bring out any spellcaster, Dark Spellcaster type monster you want from hand or deck. Then you get to destroy a card on the field, so you could use it to destroy the card that destroyed this. So not many cards can swing over this, so it's going to be good to destroy a card that can swing over 2800 defense. The next card up is Magician of Black Illusion. It basically is Dark Magician with an effect. It's a level 7 Dark Spellcaster type effect monster, an attack of 2100 and a defense of 2500. It has 3 effects. You can only activate the first and third one though once per turn. The first one being if you activate a spell or trap during your opponent's turn, you can special summon this card from your hand. So right then and there, you can use Ebon Void Magician to activate a spell or trap from your hand, guaranteeing that you can special summon Magician of Black Illusion. Now, basically, you get to pop a card on their field, use the card that's in your hand to get rid of the card on their field, and you get to special summon this card. Its second effect is it's treated as Dark Magician when in the monster zone, not in the graveyard, which actually comes into play with other card effects later on. And the third effect is once while this card is on the field face up, if you activate a spell or trap card's effect, you can target one Dark Magician in your graveyard and special summon that monster. So this opens up your rank 7 XYZ plays on top of the fact that it can be special summoned by using the effect of a rank 7 XYZ. So you have some obviously nice combos that go in this deck. It brings out, if you have Magician Black Illusion and you activate a spell or trap and you basically stop your opponent from doing something, you get to special summon a Dark Magician. So that's really nice. If you have an MST in hand, pop one of your opponent's back row, special summon Dark Magician, and then go into XYZ plays. By using MST or Twin Twister, you can also actually protect your special summons later on by getting rid of their back row, maybe a bottomless, maybe a time space. So you actually have plays, you have ways of protecting it. And keep in mind, you can also bring out other level 7 XYZs. It doesn't have to be Ebon Illusion or Ebon Void. You can bring out Draco Sack, you can bring out Big Eye. So you have a lot of plays with this. The third effect is really, really useful, the fact that it special summons Dark Magician. There's also lower level support in the form of a 2-star monster, much like how Buster Blader and Blue Eyes have support with low level monsters to basically get them on the field. There's Magician support like that too. There's 2 monsters that are like this. There's Magician's Robes, which is pretty much the Dark Magician's Robes. That's really what the card art is. It's a 2-star Dark Spellcaster type effect monster with an attack of 700, but a defense of 2000, so it's another defensive wall type monster. It's really good that it has a high defense for such a low star monster. I like that. It has 2 effects, but you can only use both of them once per turn. So the first effect being during your opponent's turn, you can discard one spell or trap, special summon a Dark Magician from your deck. That's useful in and of itself, so you can special summon a Dark Magician on your opponent's turn and create a wall that they can't go over, especially if they can't special summon or bring out a monster 2500 or higher attack. Then, obviously they're going to have to crash, so you basically protect your monsters. Its second effect is if you activate a spell or trap effect during your opponent's turn, while this card is in your graveyard, you can special summon this card from your graveyard, but banish it. So it has plays with obviously Ebon Void Magician. If you activate a spell or trap card, you can actually chain, you can use Ebon Void Magician, activate a spell or trap card from your hand, bring out the Magician of Black Illusion from your hand, then you can bring out this card from your graveyard, so it has a lot of plays. Then once again, if you have this card on the field special summoned from using Ebon Void Magician and you happen to have another spell or trap in your hand, which you probably do, you can then discard that card and then use this card's first effect to special summon a Dark Magician. And then you can also use the other effect of Magician of Black Illusion, which is when it's face up on the field. If you activate another spell or trap, you can then bring out a Dark Magician from your graveyard. If you have 2 Dark Magicians in your graveyard, you can basically bring out all 3 of them by your next probably draw phase if you have 3 spell or traps. So that's really, really nice. There's also one more smaller, lower level support for Dark Magician. It's called Magician's Rod. It's a level 3 Dark Spellcaster type effect monster and has an attack of 16 and a defense of 100. You can only use the 2 effects once per turn each. So, you know, it does limit it a little bit, but obviously some of these effects are pretty decent, so it'd be a little broken, especially this card. Its first effect is if this card is normal summoned, you can add 1 spell or trap with Dark Magician in its card text from your deck to your hand. That's really, really good, and I'll explain why in a second. The second one is if you activate a spell or trap or a spell or trap's effect during your opponent's turn while this card is in your graveyard, you contribute 1 Spellcaster type monster, add this card from your graveyard to your hand. So it also has the ability to bring itself back from the graveyard. It recycles itself. It's also, once again, chained to the activation of spell and traps, which seems to be pretty integral to how this deck runs. The thing that's really broken with this card is the way the first effect works. It says in the card text, so that means not the title, but actually in the description. So it targets a lot of cards, being a lot. I mean, there's obviously some money cards that it targets, the first one being Eye of Timaeus. So if you have a Dark Magician on the field, you can add Eye of Timaeus to hand if you want. You could add Dark Magic Attack, Dark Burning Attack, 1,000 Knives, nice title. You can do Dedication through Light and Darkness, Dark Burning Magic, Dark Magic Curtain, Magic Formula, Miracle Restoring, and Eternal Soul. So this card is basically your searcher for the outs to your opponent's plays. It's really nice that you can search these cards. You can have a Dark Magician on field, Dark Magician Girl on field, activate Eye of Timaeus, and bring out a higher attack card if you weren't able to swing over your opponent's monster. And, you know, they do have the Dragon Fusions with Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girl. They do have effects, so there is some pluses to using the Eye of Timaeus, though the card is like $50. So I hope when we get this Dark Magician support, Eye of Timaeus is reprinted, because this card's $45 to $50 normally, and with the Dark Magician hype, it's probably gonna go up to like $80. So the next card up, that is now, we're done with the monsters. The next card up is a spell card called Dark Magic Circle. It's a continuous spell card, and you can only use each effect that it has. Each of both effects has 2 effects. You can only use them once per turn each, like many other of these cards, because otherwise I think it'd be a little broken. The first effect is when this card is activated, look at the top 3 cards of your deck. If there are any spell or trap cards that have Dark Magician in the card text, or Dark Magician or a Dark Magician among those cards, you can reveal one of them and then add it to your hand. Return the others to your top of your deck in any order. So this is really, really nice. It allows you to add spells and traps to your hand, or Dark Magician to your hand, and it allows you to stack the top deck that you have now. You know you're drawing into these cards. You can stack them in the order you want. It allows you to actually set up plays in advance. Your opponent only sees the card that you're adding to your hand. You don't see the cards, they don't see the cards that you're putting back to the deck. Especially if you don't have a spell or trap or a Dark Magician card, you can then stack it in any order to get the way to basically get what you want out of it. You can use this to add Dark Magician to hand. That's really, really good. You can use it to add Dark Magician card text. You can add Eye of Timaeus. You can add all the other spell or traps that could basically be searched by the Magician's Rod. So there's a lot of plays. And the second one is if a Dark Magician is normal special summoned to your side of the field, target 1 card your opponent controls and banish it. This is really great because there's a lot of ways to special summon Dark Magician, as it's integral to this deck, and the fact that when you special summon it, you can banish one of your opponent's cards, it's really, really nice. Though it does target, so that's kind of unfortunate, but having a banish ability in a continuous spell card really isn't that bad at all. So it's nice to have that. There's also a quick play spell card, which is actually really, really broken, and it basically combos in with like Magician's Rod and stuff like that. It's a quick play spell card called Illusion Magic, and you can only activate the effect once per turn. It says you contribute 1 Dark Spellcaster type monster you control, add up to 2 Dark Magician from your deck or graveyard to your hand. So the way this works is basically you can use Rod to add Eye of Timaeus to your hand, use this quick play spell card, pop your Rod, that sounds weird, pop the Magician's Rod, send it to the graveyard, and then you get 2 Dark Magicians from either your deck or your graveyard, or just 1 Dark Magician. You don't have to do 2, it's up to 2, which is really nice. And you get Dark Magician to hand, which allows you to then do Eye of Timaeus plays. It allows you to do 1,000 Knives plays. It allows you to basically get Dark Magician to your hand because there's a lot of Dark Magician centered spells and traps that can't be activated any other way unless you have Dark Magician. This allows you to add it to hand. It's a nice way to search out Dark Magician, even though there's a lot of ways anyway. And the last card is a trap card called Magician's Activate, and this is probably one of the most broken cards in the deck because it's a normal trap card. It says special summon 1 Dark Magician from your hand, then special summon 1 level 7 or lower Dark Spellcaster type monster from your deck. Its second effect is if you control Dark Magician, except during the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target 1 face-up spell or trap your opponent controls, and you can negate its effects until the end of the turn. This is broken because you get the rank 7 plays immediately. This is basically a trap card that you activate and get to XYZ, whatever rank 7 you want, and that's really, really nice. And it also works in tandem with Illusion Magic and Magician's Rod. You can use Magician's Rod to add any spell or trap you want to your hand that has Dark Magician in its text, right? So you can add Magician's Activate if you really wanted to, have this card set because it has Dark Magician in the text, you set it, next turn, you can use this card in the combo with Illusion Magic, like I said, which is the quick play spell, activate the quick play spell on Magician's Rod, then you basically get more shit to your hand, you get 2 Dark Magicians to your hand, and you can, if you have 2 Magicians Activate, which is the trap card, you can activate both of them. It's not a once per turn effect, so you can special summon as many Dark Magicians you have in hand. Basically, if you have the 2 traps, you can keep searching the traps, add them to hand. You can then just keep bringing out Dark Magicians and special summoning and special summoning and special summoning. You could, if you happen to draw all 3 of these traps, you can bring out 3 rank 7s in one turn if you did it the right way and timed it the right way and had the ability to special summon. The quick play spell adds Dark Magicians to your hand. This card special summons from your hand. So the quick play spell adds 2 Dark Magicians to your hand. If you have 2 of these traps, you can immediately special summon both of those Dark Magicians and bring out other level 7s from your deck, which means you can also target, it's level 7 or lower, so you can target any card you want, and then you can use it basically to either add robes, you can add the rod, or you can add Magician of Black Illusion. And when you have this card face up on the field, if you activate a spell or trap, and you have a Dark Magician in the graveyard, you can special summon it. So it's really, really nice. It opens up a lot of plays. It's a really it's becoming kind of rank 7 spam. I actually kind of like that because having rank 7 spam is something that doesn't really happen all that often. And there's a lot of decent rank 7 cards. So it's nice that we can get a deck that does this, especially because it's centered around Dark Magician. The support really isn't that bad. And also really quick, there was a Blue Eyes Ultimate Neo Dragon announced. Here's what it looks like. There's no effects though. They're announcing it later, but it's a pretty cool looking card anyway. But that's it for this video, guys. I don't want to keep rambling or anything like that and waste any more of your time. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to let me know. You can follow me on Twitter at Schwabs or like my Facebook page, facebook.com/TheVinnyDShow, to see when I put these videos out. If you really liked it, you can click subscribe because it's free, it's fun, and I'll see you guys in the next one.